Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Monday, April the 15th. We got a 9-game Monday MLB slate. I'm going to go through the pitcher player pool, talk about some of the pitchers that I like. We'll look at 3 batters that I'm looking to target today. We'll talk about some stacks that I'll be going to, and then we will talk about BVP at the end of the video for those of you that are interested in BVP. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new uploads. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at pitcher today. So on DraftKings we have 2 options over 10K. We got Trevor Bauer, 10,400 in a road matchup with the Mariners, and then we have Noah Syndergaard at 10,000, also in a road matchup against the Phillies. Both guys I think are somewhat appealing today. Syndergaard I think is less appealing, especially if people are going to go to him. I don't mind playing Syndergaard when he's low owned. I think he has upside. But when he's chalky, when Syndergaard's high owned, he definitely has enough blow up potential when it comes to like just putting runners on base, getting walks, or allowing walks, allowing hits. That we could definitely look elsewhere if Syndergaard's going to be popular. I don't think he's going to be popular today because a matchup with the Phillies is obviously not a matchup that we really like. Phillies, a very good offensive team, just a really good lineup in general. I expect if people are going to pay up at pitcher, they're probably going to go to Trevor Bauer on the road with the Mariners. This is definitely not an ideal matchup for Trevor Bauer. This Mariners team has been really good this year. They do have a low implied run total, which obviously you would expect, which makes sense. But this Mariners team has a ton of power at the top of the lineup. Still has some guys that will strike out, though, so Bauer does have upside here. It's a bit of a scarier spot with how good the Mariners have been this year. But I think Bauer's the guy I would pay up for if I'm going 10K and above. I would play him over Syndergaard. If Bauer's going to be like 30-40% owned and Syndergaard's going to be like 5% owned, then I think you could make the pivot to Syndergaard if you want to do that. But the guy that I really like at pitcher today, if I'm paying up, is Aaron Nola. He's 9,600, cheaper than all of those guys. He gets a home matchup with the Mets that I really like. Great matchup for Nola. Definitely a spot where he can really get things going. Nola has not been that great so far this year. He did have a good start very beginning of the year against the Braves at home. Pitched pretty well, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, which isn't great, but did have 8 strikeouts, 27 DK points. Then he really struggled against the Nationals with -5 DK points, and then he pitched against the Nationals again and really struggled with just 7 DK points. But this is definitely a great matchup for Nola against a Mets team that has plenty of strikeouts in their lineup, especially when you get through 6 through 9, even 5 through 9. Ramos strikes out a bit versus righties. Michael Conforto's not the highest K guy. Pete Alonso will definitely strike out. A ton of power, though. This guy has shown a lot of power this year, but still will strike out. Jeff McNeil will put the ball in play. He doesn't strike out much. But when you get to the bottom of that lineup, there's plenty of Ks for Aaron Nola. And he's such a talented pitcher that I think he can definitely get you close to double-digit strikeouts here. I would not be surprised if Nola finally puts up 30-plus DK points. I think he could easily go 6-7 innings with 8, 9, 10 strikeouts here. Probably even get a win. So I like Aaron Nola a lot at 9,600 on DK. On Yahoo, he's $2 cheaper than Bauer. He's $2 more than Syndergaard. Still like him over here on Yahoo. I think he's worth the $53 price tag. And looking for an SP2, since we paid up for Nola, we're definitely going to want to look for a cheaper SP2. I feel like there are 2 guys that a lot of people are going to flock to today as a cheaper SP2. Yu Darvish against the Marlins, I expect a lot of people to go to, and Kikuchi at home against the Indians, I think, at 7,700. Also a guy you could look to. I'm going to go and take the Yu Darvish route today. Doesn't feel good, but it's just such a great matchup for Yu Darvish against a Marlins team that's just really not good offensively. No, Darvish has been terrible this year, has not thrown more than 6 innings. His best start of the year was his last start against Pittsburgh, where he went 5 1/3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, only got 4 strikeouts. He has had some tough matchups, though, this year. Atlanta, a team that doesn't strike out much, will put the ball in play. Pittsburgh really doesn't strike out much either. They'll put the ball in play. Texas will strike out quite a bit, but Darvish had to pitch that game on the road in Texas, which is not a great environment for pitchers. Now he finally gets a good matchup on the road in Marlins Park, a great pitcher's park against a very bad Marlins team. Low implied run total for the Marlins as well today, which you would expect. Just a 3.8 implied run total. I think Darvish can finally get things going here. And it's 7,800. I do like him quite a bit today as an SP2. I think Kikuchi at home against the Indians is also a really good play for just 100 less. If you want to play Kikuchi, I do like him as well. Him and Darvish both make a ton of sense if you're looking for guys to pair with your expensive pitcher. But I think that's it for like my core pitchers. Definitely Bauer, Nola, Darvish, and Kikuchi are going to be the guys I really look to. On Yahoo, I want to talk about Joey Lucchesi. He's 34 over here. He's going to be a guy that I play quite a bit as an SP2. He's cheaper than Darvish. He's cheaper than Kikuchi, which I don't think makes a ton of sense, especially when you factor in his matchup at home against the Rockies. A Rockies team that's just really not good offensively right now. Has always been a team that struggled outside of Coors Field, and today they're playing in Petco, which is definitely a pitcher's park. Rockies just not a good team on the road, and right now their lineup really isn't good. Besides Arenado, Story, and Blackman, there's not a lot of good hitters in this lineup. This is definitely a spot where Joey Lucchesi can rack up some strikeouts. So at 34 on Yahoo, where he's cheaper than Darvish, cheaper than Kikuchi, I like Joey Lucchesi quite a bit at 34. I like pairing him with Nola over on Yahoo. But that's where I'm looking to at pitcher today. Those are the pitchers that really catch my eye that I feel like I'm going to be playing. Now let's go ahead and talk about some bats real quick. We'll look at some stacks as well and then do BVP plays. Starting off at second base, Whit Merrifield at 4,600. I like quite a bit today. On Yahoo, he is in the outfield and he's $24. Pretty expensive, but I think he's worth the price tag. The Royals, in my opinion, are probably the best stack on the slate versus Ervin Santana. Even though they have a 4.6 implied run total, which may seem somewhat low, Ervin Santana is just not a good pitcher. This is a great spot for the Royals to really put up some runs. And they've been playing really well lately. They did really well against Kluber. They hit him up pretty hard on Sunday. I think they keep things going here against Ervin Santana. Santana looked pretty terrible in his debut against the Rays. I know he gave up like 2 or 3 home runs. I think he allowed like 5 or 6 runs. He's just not that good of a pitcher. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to throw balls in the zone. Guys like Whit Merrifield, Mondesi, who we're going to talk about, I think are great plays today. Alex Gordon, Soler, Ryan O'Hearn, Hunter Dozier. These are guys you can look to for value as well. Lucas Duda, 3,700. The Royals probably my favorite stack. I hope they go overlooked because their run total isn't as high as some other teams. Love the Royals today. Love Whit Merrifield, just one of the best hitters in the league, and now he's getting to face a very bad pitcher. I expect him to take advantage of that. Alberto Mondesi, another guy that I love. Expensive today, but he's worth the price tag. $5,100 on DK, $25 on Yahoo. I love this two-man stack of Mondesi and Merrifield. You can obviously continue this stack, though. You can play Alex Gordon. You can play Jorge Soler. You can play Ryan O'Hearn. I don't know if I'll be playing any Chris Owings or Maldonado, but the 1 through 7, I will be mixing that stack up quite a bit throughout my lineups. I think on the other side as well, against Heath Filmar, you can definitely look to some White Sox bats. We'll talk about them more when we talk about stacks. But for now, looking at the Royals, love them here against Ervin Santana. Mondesi, just another really good hitter, a guy that has power, a guy that has speed. Him and Merrifield, I expect to have a ton of success in this matchup. If they get on base, they can run. Versus Santana, they can obviously do damage when it comes to power. Santana will give up home runs, and both of these guys have a ton of power. So I like Merrifield and Mondesi a ton today from the Royals, and I love a Royal stack on this slate. Then another team I'm looking to a lot is the Angels. Like Cole Calhoun quite a bit today as a value. He's only 3,800 on DK. He should be leading off. Right now, David Fletcher's projected to lead off, but I would imagine since they're facing a righty that Cole Calhoun is going to lead off for this game. And at 3,800, leading off against Shelby Miller in Globe Life Park, a great hitter's park. Shelby Miller, along with Ervin Santana, probably 2 of the worst pitchers going on this slate, if not the 2 worst pitchers going. So an Angel stack I love here. Hopefully Trout will be in the lineup because obviously you're going to want to play Mike Trout in this matchup. Even if Trout does not play today, I think you can still play some of these Angels bats, especially with how cheap they are. Nobody on DraftKings is over 4K besides Trout. All of them are 4K or under 4K. Simmons, the next most expensive at 3,900. So if you're paying up for pitcher today and you need a cheap stack, I would definitely look to the Angels bats here versus Shelby Miller. Shelby Miller just not good. He's pitching in a great hitter's park. I expect the Angels to be able to do some damage against him. Cole Calhoun, a guy that has a lot of power versus righties, and facing a righty that gives up home runs and doesn't really strike people out. I think Cole Calhoun can have a lot of success today. On Yahoo, I'm not going to include Calhoun into the core because since we went with Mondesi and Merrifield, we did pay up quite a bit. Those 2 guys are very expensive on Yahoo. We only have an average of $10 remaining per player, so I do want to give you some value. I do want to give you a cheap value play. It's at catcher. I know that's usually a position a lot of people look for value, but Danny Jansen at the minimum on Yahoo stands out to me as a value if you are looking for a cheap catcher. Right now, he's in the projected lineup, projected to bat fifth versus Martin Perez. He looks like one of the best catcher plays on the slate. Martin Perez, a very bad pitcher, a guy that really struggles to righties. So Freddie Galvis, Teoscar Hernandez, Randall Grichuk, Danny Jansen, I think these guys are definitely in play. I think a Blue Jay stack, and I don't know if I'll go with a full stack, but like the 1, 3, 4, 5. If you want to play Justin Smoke, you can, but I do prefer Smoke when he's facing righties. But like Galvis, Hernandez, Grichuk, and Jansen, I do like today if you are looking for a little four-man stack. I'll have some Blue Jay stacks here versus Martin Perez. I just don't think Perez is that good of a pitcher. We can definitely take advantage here. So where Danny Jansen is projected at fifth and he's the minimum salary on Yahoo, I do like him quite a bit as a value since we did pay up for Mondesi and Merrifield, two guys that are very, very expensive on Yahoo. I did want to give you some value, and that's where Jansen comes in hand. So these are my 5 plays for Yahoo today, and then 5 plays for DraftKings. Now we'll talk about some stacks real quick, and then we'll look at BVP plays before we end the video. So my top 2 stacks are definitely the Royals and the Angels. Those are 2 teams I feel like I'm going to be going pretty heavy on. There are a lot of stacks I like today, though, so I'm not going to be going too heavy on the Royals or Angels. I'll definitely be mixing in some White Sox stack in there. I like the Rangers on the other side of that game against Trevor Cahill. I think both sides of this game, Angels and Rangers, I think both teams make sense as stacks. I think both the Royals and White Sox make sense as stacks today. Some Blue Jays bats versus Martin Perez, specifically like the 1, 3, 4, 5 or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like quite a bit if you want to go there. Some other teams you could look to, not really a ton of other teams catch my eye. Those are probably the teams I'm going to be really focused on. Definitely some Brewers versus Dakota Hudson I think makes sense, especially in Miller Park. The Brewers are pretty expensive. Besides like Shaw and Aguilar, there's not a lot of value in this lineup. Like Yelich is expensive, Braun versus a righty is pretty expensive. Kane's $4,600, Moustakas is $4,300. But I still do like some Brewers bats, but the 4 teams I mentioned, these 4 teams right here, Rangers, Angels, Royals, White Sox, those are the 4 teams I like quite a bit today. The 4 teams that probably going to make my primary stacks, and then like secondary, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, those are teams I'll look to fill in. But let's go ahead and talk about BVP real quick before we end the video. So looking at some BVP plays that stand out, Cesar Hernandez, 8 for 19 off of Noah Syndergaard. Justin Smoke hit Martin Perez well, that's definitely notable, 7 for 18. Andrelton Simmons, 6 for 10 off of Shelby Miller. Justin Bour, 5 for 10 with 2 home runs off of Shelby Miller. So that's definitely notable. Lucas Duda, 5 for 14 with the home run off of Irvin Santana. Whit Merrifield has BVP against Santana, 7 for 17, so he's hit him well. Will Myers, 6 for 12 with a home run off of Antonio Senzatella. That's probably all the BVP we got for today. So I think that is it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Or like always, you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GO if you do have any questions. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.